Well, 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 time sure flies, doesn't it? We have reached the end of the third season of the GC. And as I close out this season, well, I'm looking forward personally to the upcoming season, my favorite season, football season. So get ready for a few football analogies as we get ready for the big game.
Take the field! Hurry up! By the bounce, let's go! This is what we do! This is what we do!
So, how many of you guys ever played sports in school? You know, every week at practice, you went through various drills to prepare yourself for the next game, right? But now, some games were bigger than others. You knew those games would be more challenging with a tougher opponent, or maybe it was an away game in a place where you didn't usually do so well. For those games, you would train harder, hoping to learn from your past mistakes. You know, the same is true of our spiritual walk with Christ. There are going to be some really tough battles ahead, but unlike those tough opponents you knew to practice harder for, or those tough away games that you knew to do more to prepare yourselves for, you often find there's times that you don't have any idea just what lies ahead of you in your Christian walk. You may face difficult trials that seem to hit you from out of nowhere, but God knows exactly what lies ahead, so we must trust in Him. After all, He's our head coach.
Too many bad habits! Let's go! Hurry up! That ain't a good rep.
See, Jesus told His disciples, thereby telling us in John 16:33, that in this world you will have troubles, but take heart. I have overcome the world. Now, every single day, most of us likely face several small trials. These are those little things that just get on your nerves and irritate you. A family member, a coworker, or even a close friend might be pushing all your buttons. Someone may cut you off in traffic. Happens to me all the time. A customer or client may be difficult to deal with that day. Or, you know, these things, the small trials, may seem insignificant when compared to the big stuff we encounter, but they do serve a purpose. Proverbs 27:17 tells us, iron sharpens iron. Likewise, one man sharpens another. See, those things that just grate on you about your fellow man, those things that rub you the wrong way, can be used by God to chip away at your own rough edges and make you a stronger, more patient, more understanding individual. This is how God molds us, conditions us, strengthens us, and builds our character. It's how He equips us to face the larger troubles that lie ahead. So think of those smaller daily battles as a training ground or a practice field. How we deal with the little stuff can tell us a lot about our character, revealing how we're likely to handle the bigger issues that come our way. Ask yourselves, how well do I deal with life's little tests? Do I get angry? Do I blow up in people's faces? Or do I allow God to teach me a lesson?
Practicing either good habits or bad habits. Good habits or bad habits.
Now, for those of us who played sports, or even for those who are just sports fans, we know how important it is to be prepared for that big game. Now, this applies to our spiritual lives as well, in that we need to always be spiritually ready for any big test that could be just around the corner. And remember, it's not just you out there alone against the world. Whether it's a group of Christian friends, or your family, or your church, or small group, you have your own team to support you. And we're supposed to have one another's backs.
Take charge, that's it. Get on, get ready, go talk to each other.
Now, as we've discussed in some earlier videos, Ephesians 6 tells us about putting on the full armor of God. A football player needs protective gear, a helmet, shoulder pads, thigh pads, hip pads, knee pads, etc. He also needs cleats shoes that dig into the turf and help him to be quick and agile. The armor of God talked about in this chapter is similar to that. But the writer also mentions in verse 18 something else of vital importance, something that paints a picture of teamwork and having the backs of others. That thing is prayer. Praying at all times in the Spirit with all prayer and supplication. To that end, keep alert with all perseverance, making supplication for all the saints. So part of being on a team means watching out for your teammates. And yeah, I'm talking about your fellow believers. We should remember to pray for one another because we never know what kind of troubles each may be dealing with. Now, this passage also states that we need to pray for one another and keep alert with all perseverance. For us, this has to do with always paying attention to any signs that a teammate may be in need, may be in trouble. We've got to be sensitive to the needs of others, as well as being sensitive to the prodding of the Holy Spirit on someone's behalf. Now, have you ever felt impressed to pray for someone? That is the Holy Spirit prompting you to intercede in prayer. Now, that person you're led to pray for might be facing a difficult circumstance and really need prayer. So in preparing for the big game or life's toughest trials, keep in mind again the promise that Jesus made that in this world we will have trouble. But he has overcome the world, and so we can overcome anything through him. In fact, through Christ, we are more than conquerors.
Hey, that's the best rep you had right there. That's a good job. That's a good job.
So as season 3 comes to a close, remember to have a teachable spirit. Allow God to coach you. Let him mold you and prepare you for that big game that lies ahead. And God bless. Time sure flies, doesn't it? We have reached the end of the 3rd season of the GC.
I just want you to know, I'm leaving.
Well, bye.
But I'll be back.